We've had yet another to do with certain people. Um, they have, I got had said a little bit of a something to say to the wife of the late Pete Newbon. You can look him up. He's got into a bit of a drama. Don't want to talk too much about that, but I was a bit rude. But these people have had their own way, haven't they? Mostly. There's a belief among the sort of bourgeois English and the Anglos that their grief and their pain is all that counts. But that's not actually how it is it? There's the wretched of the earth who also have to suffer, and they've suffered because of them for an extra 3 years now. Um, so where's the? I'm actually sort of a sympathetic person. You mightn't believe that, but an empathetic person, probably overly so, actually, hypersensitive. Um, so I was a bit rude to this woman, and she didn't like it, obviously, and I was even more rude. But she's over in Vietnam having a nice holiday with her children and with her husband's insurance money, the life insurance. She's having a nice time, isn't she? Without having to have the husband there. She's relieved of that burden. So I don't feel for this woman, this bourgeois English woman. Comfortable life. They made the underclass and the working class suffer tremendously for another 3 years by destroying the Corbyn project. She's only a little bit of a bit player. Newbon too. He, he's entitled to make his memes. He was, and his decision was his, and so that's his sort of moral cowardice is not my fault. It's not the fault of Corbyn supporters. It's not the fault of revolutionaries or anti-establishment folk anywhere here in Australia, England, or around the world. That's not our problem. And so maybe they got a little bit of karma towards them, just a little bit. You also saw she's praising Criado Perez, and I've mentioned her in the blog. A very rich Argentinian family she came from, virulently anti-Corbyn. Also, Criado Perez implied that Thomas, what's his name? The guy who killed Joe Cox, a fascist, open fascist. She wrote an article that clearly insinuated that he was a Corbyn supporter. Complete fabrication and libel, defamation, frankly. And so she had a little bit of karma herself. She wrote a big long Twitter thread a couple of years ago, I think, and she had I think a spontaneous abortion in the waiting room. She was bleeding everywhere, sitting there with the blood coming out of her anatomy in the hospital waiting room. So she got a little bit of hers back. No pity for these people. Don't fall for it. These rich people who have decided that everyone has to be sacrificed to protect their lifestyles, their happy little bourgeois lifestyles. That the underclass and the working class have to be sacrificed for that. That's what they believe. Sometimes things go wrong for them, though. Fate has some things in store for them, for Rachel Hewitt, her name is. Dr. Rachel Hewitt. And Carolyn Criado Perez. I asked her her agent Tracy King, or Tracy Bohan, I think her married name is. Ugly one with big tits, and I asked her, to clarify it, whether she actually meant that, and she gave a clear indication that Criado Perez did definitely mean to imply that Joe Cox's killer was a Corbyn supporter. Just an outrageous, just an absolutely hideous sort of insinuation, sort of grotesque. So Criado Perez was sitting there and, bleeding out. You know, don't care. You bit of karma for a handful of them anyway. And Hewitt with her weak husband, they made a real cult out of that guy, Pete Newbon. They just it's a real cult. You think he's the most beautiful, wonderful man in the world. He loved his kids. Wow, well that's heroic, isn't it? He loved his kids. Um, anyway, so they're deifying him almost. David Hirsch wrote a big long academic article about how wonderful he was. What a heroic and wonderful and beautiful man this guy was, who took his life and left his family to rot. This cowardly individual. And so we're supposed to cry. His wife gets offloads him, goes to Vietnam to have a big holiday with the 3 kids that he left behind, and have a little bit of a go at them, and it's the biggest drama in the world. So she's having a nice holiday in Vietnam. Good on you, sweetie. You can pick up another man. And Criado Perez, too bad. Yeah, that's just too bad, isn't it? That's life. Such is life, as a famous Irish Australian once said. And I'm being blocked by Corpsey. Corpsey's really mad about it. He's flying off the handle. He's shaking with rage, he says. The great man Thomas Duran on Twitter, one of the Holy Trinity. But he can have a big sook too. Twisted individual, sort of that he is. He's so dirty. His mother won't even let him live in the house. He's been banished to the garden shed, the makeshift sort of granny flat for him in the back, and it's -6 degrees. He was saying the other day, so he can suck it up too. A bit of karma for him. A Tory lapdog that he is. So that's life, isn't it? Some of them, you do get a bit of justice served their way. Most of them don't. Even ugly old Gillian Lazarus sort of stuck her nose in. So I don't know why she replied to the tweet. She had to be blocked. So maybe she can, it's a bit senile, poor old Gillian. The religious fanatic, ugly woman too. So that's life, isn't it? That's how things are. The cult around Pete Newbon is very strange. I don't buy that he's as wonderful as they make out. But onward and upward, and I'm not going to retreat. For these people, I will not be backing down.